What's going on, guys? It's Johnny King with another episode of the Becoming Kings podcast. And I'm really excited for today's episode because we're hanging with my guy, Kyronn Cordner, who I met at the Empowered Brotherhood men's, weekly workout in Austin, Texas. And I was down there for a month. But dude, it's good to have you on. I'm excited to get into your story. Thanks for waking up early.
Here, man. Yes, sir.
Banging out. We're both up early getting this podcast recording in because he's a busy man. And you were up how late last night? Midnight, 1?
After 12, off from the restaurant. Got in pretty late.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited.
Went to bed close to 1:30.
Yeah, and now here we are up at 6, 7 a.m. So thanks
7 my time, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for being available. I appreciate it so much. Man, you're I think I was just attracted to, and I think probably a lot of people are, just your personality, your energy. You're a beast in the gym. So we had fun there, but I imagine you bring that same type of levity and joy to your work, right?
Yes, sir.
Have you
everything.
always been that way when you were a little kid, or what was life like? Because you said you were raised in Tobago. What did you say?
Yeah, I was born in Trinidad and grew up in Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. Yeah, it's a happy place, man. So, like, you gotta have no choice but to be happy. You know what I mean? You're surrounded by the beautiful ocean, beautiful people, food, beautiful sun. So you kind of have to be happy. So I kept that with me throughout my entire life. You know, my family's the same way. Really happy family, happy folks. Yeah.
Are you still have a lot of family back there, or are they back here in the States?
Most of my family's back there. Only my mom. Wow. My mom's in Brooklyn, and I have an auntie in New York City still. So everyone's just a mom and auntie in New York, and everyone's back home. Brothers, sisters, dad, cousins, uncles, aunties, all back home.
Crazy.
And I've been here 21 years now.
Okay, yeah. So take me back a little bit to tell me about your story. Rewind the clocks a little bit and tell me. I'd be curious to hear, when did you start kind of falling in love with? Because you're a chef, right?
Yes. And I make Soda Creek.
Okay.
In Cibolo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which is a great restaurant, and it's in Austin, or is it on the outskirts?
It's actually closer to San Antonio. Yeah, it's like just north of San Antonio, Cibolo, which is like about 1 hour from Austin.
Okay.
No traffic. You get here. Yeah.
Cool.
It's more closer to San Antonio.
I'd be curious to know when you kind of started falling in love with cooking and food and everything else. Take me back to the earlier years of what that looked like in life.
Well, again, this goes back to growing up back home in the Caribbean, man. Like, food is a big part of culture, you know, so we'll always get together and cook. So I've always been around family members cooking, my dad, my uncles, mom, everyone cooking. So I'd always see it, you know. And then living with my dad for a bit, dad and mom separated, but dad had us for a while. And I'd always see him cooking. And he taught me how to cook, actually, in the beginning. And I loved it, you know. I always loved cooking. Yeah, like most stories you hear, mom taught me how to cook.
Yeah.
You know, it was actually my dad taught me how to cook, you know. He's still a really good cook too, you know. And then after I moved to the States, I moved here in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't cook in a restaurant. I cooked at a restaurant back home, actually. So my dad had a car service, right? Rental service. And it's a small island that thrives off of tourism. You know, and he was upset that I didn't want to work in his car service. I wanted to work at a restaurant. And he was so mad that his own son didn't want to work with him. Yeah, but now he gets it. You know, he gets it now. But I knew he was so mad. He was so mad at me before I was wanting to leave and go work for someone else and not for him, you know?
Yeah.
But I moved here and I realized, well, hey, I can make a career, something I enjoy doing. You know, like, what's the point of trying to find something you love when you already have something you love?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I
positioned myself around some of the best chefs around New York and New Jersey and got it going, man. Honed my skills, read a bunch of books, worked at some of the best restaurants around, and never stopped, basically. Just never stopped. Yeah.
But when did that dream really start to, like, grow and be like, that's what I want to do? Or did you just kind of follow it organically?
It was somewhere around, it was when the first Whole Foods market opened in New York City. I remember the first Whole Foods market, and I applied at the seafood counter because I always like butchering seafood and all good stuff. So I was a fishmonger first.
Yeah.
So most chefs will tell you, well, I was a dishwasher first. I washed dishes for 5-10 years and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I was a fishmonger first. I was butchering seafood all day long at Whole Foods. And then, of course, I messed that up because of, the alcohol, drinking, all that crazy stuff. Messed that up. And I'm sure we'll get into later on. And Italy opened up. If you're Italy on TV, it's like a huge Italian market, similar to Whole Foods. It's by Maya Batali and Lady Bastianich, that group. And I went back to seafood also again, I did whatever, butchering seafood. And so every department has a restaurant. Right? So there's a meat department and there's a meat restaurant. This is seafood. There's a seafood restaurant, pasta and so forth. And the restaurant was like right around the corner. And I'd always peek around the corner, look around the corner. And I'm like, God, that's so much fun. I want to do that so bad. And got one foot in the door and never turned back, man. It's just so much fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you get in the crate. And I remember my first job in the kitchen. It was in a place called a Smorgasbord Chef. It was Financial District in New York City. It was 17 Williams Street, actually. And the chef was a Japanese dude named Rio. And I remember I was just like small light prep work, and he was showing me how to hold a knife. And I remember saying to myself, there's no fucking way I could get this ever. I would never get this down. You have to pinch your fingers, make sure you're not, cutting yourself, and it wasn't comfortable, And I remember saying, God, I love this, but I can't do this, man. Now it's like breathing. Yeah.
Well, you didn't give up on it, and why did? Because I feel like so many other men probably listening to the podcast have been in situations where they either gave up on their dreams or they did just believe that they couldn't do something, right? But how did you just keep leaning into it? You were just like,
it's what you love. It's what you love, what you got to do, man. Because I'm the kind of guy, like, if I get to something, if I get to a wall, it's not just the end. It's not a wall for me. I can get through that. And if you just put yourself in a mental space where it's not the end. It's just the beginning. It can never be the end. Even when you think you're at that end, it's like, hey, I can go a little further. And I apply the same thing, even the workouts. You feel like you can go a little more. Push one more rep. You can do one more. So right when you think you're at the end of it, let's say, for example, my culinary career, I could have said, fuck, I can't use a knife. I will never get this. I'll go pick up be an electrician. I'll be a plumber. I'll go back to school, something else. But I'm like, nah, this is what I want to do, so I'm going to get it. So you have to do it. It's just a mindset, I feel like, for most guys, just getting yourself in that mental place.
Well, that's absolutely right. Yeah, and that's why I feel like that's what kind of my brand focuses on, and what I talk about a lot in my book is just how important mindset is. But I think guys know that, like, intellectually, they know it's mindset, but then to actually put it into play into their lives is so much more difficult. It's when the shit hits the fan that they're like, that's when we have a hard time kind of making things actually happen, right? So it's true. I just got to imagine that making that move from Trinidad and Tobago to the U.S. was a scary one, right? And you were by yourself, or did you know people? How did you even get up into the Northeast and like?
Well, when my mom and dad separated, my mom and dad separated a couple of years ago, and then my mom moved here. So my mom lived in Brooklyn the entire time. So even before I moved permanently, I'll visit for vacation. Me and my older brother will visit for summers, for winters.
Yeah.
And after I graduated high school back home, I decided, well, okay, I'm going to move for good. So my mom was here in Brooklyn, so I met my mom in Brooklyn after.
So that's nice. That was a huge anchor, at least, to be able to have a home base.
Yeah, it wasn't like I came right away without never coming before. It was completely surprised. Like, I've been here a couple of times on vacation, so I knew what I was getting into, but at the same time, it's still a drastic change to live in a bigger city. Everything's so fast-paced, but I feel like I adapted pretty fast,
I'm sure you did. Well, I want to hear more about how did things end up going kind of sideways with, drinking and alcohol and that sort of thing.
Well, that all happened after nightlife. So I worked, before the kitchen, during the kitchen, right before the kitchen, I worked in retail.
Okay.
And after retail, I met some guys in retail that worked in nightlife also. And I mean, it sounds fun. I mean, I was what, maybe 20, 21, 22, 22 year old. New York City nightlife, can't fucking pass that up. You get paid to party. The job is to party, like we're basically getting paid to bring out an attractive image to nightclubs, and you'll pay the promoters X amount of dollars to bring out an attractive crowd, and you'll seat that crowd next to spenders, so let's say you have 4 or 5 guys that come in the nightclub, they're gonna spend shit tons of money. You're gonna seat those guys or put their tables between 2 of the promoters that has like 20, 30, 40 models next to them. Of course, these guys are going to spend more. So that's the job, basically. It sounds sleazy as fuck, but that's the job. We're paid to bring an image to the nightclub. And alcohol was free. The drugs were there. Everything was all free. It was all free. So I did that for roughly 7, 8 years, man.
Wow.
And drinking every single night. I mean, you had to show a good time. I mean, there are guys that wouldn't drink and show a good time, but what are the chances? I mean, a group would come back out with you. I'm not going to hang out with this sober guy tonight at this nightclub. So much fun, but guys do it. Don't get me wrong. But I'm the kind of guy, I wanted to show a good time. I wanted to have a good time, So we'll pregame at the apartment, drink at home, get to the nightclub. We'll drink all the way till 4 or 5 a.m. And after that, we'll go to an after party. That starts at like 5 a.m. and that will go to like 12 the next day or whenever the fuck you die or when you want to go home. So that was rough. It was rough. It was really, really rough. So after that, I met my wife in nightlife. So she lived in New Jersey at the time. I lived in Brooklyn. And then we met, got together, and we were ready to have our first kid. So I'm like, okay, cool. Probably can't do this nightlife thing for too much longer. It's just not, So I got into the kitchen in 2010. 2010, that's when I got into the kitchen full time. And I was still working at some of the clubs are restaurants and nightclubs. Right? So the restaurant by day, nightclub at night. And after leaving nightclub at nightlife like full time, going into the restaurant, I didn't stop drinking. It's almost the same damn thing. In the restaurants, you'll find alcohol, you'll find drugs, So did I really leave the atmosphere? No, I didn't, So the drinking never ended. I'll wake up in the morning, I have a glass of scotch. Seriously. I'll get to the restaurant and I'll destroy the fucking kitchen wine. As gross as it was, I'll drink the kitchen wine. I get home and I'll keep drinking. And I never ended. I never, ever stopped. I kept going. Ruined a lot of good opportunities, man. Really good opportunities. I remember the day I got fired from Italy, I was hungover as fuck. I had not reeked alcohol. I came in and the supervisor just did one of these, they point at you and give you the finger to come over. And I said to myself, I was like, God, you fucked up another one. I got fired that time. And on my way home, I'm like, at some point you have to fix this, man. This is what you want to do, right? You said you want to cook. You said you want to grow. You want to get in this industry. You want to get better. This is not getting better, And even at that point, it didn't end. I still kept drinking. After I got fired from that position, I still kept drinking. And then I worked with a chef. His name is Jamie Knott in New Jersey at a place called Saddle River Inn. And he's also sober. The guys in the kitchen were also sober. And I did the same thing. I'd go there and I'd drink the kitchen wine. And then the sous chef pulled me aside one day. And he says, hey, we don't do this here. And I'm like, I felt really bad. Fuck, I fucked it up. He said, hey, we don't do this here, man. And blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm sorry, I apologize. And that same night, the chef called me and he says, I have to protect this, man. I basically can't have you anymore. Because I wasn't the right fit for that. I was still fucking up. And it was at that point where I was like, you know what, man? This is stupid. And one morning I got up to pour that glass of scotch. And I poured the glass of scotch. I took a sip of it and I was like, I'm going to feel like this the entire day, man. And I quickly just dumped it. It. I dumped the glass of scotch. I dumped the bottle I had. And that was going on 4 years ago now. Never had another drink since, man. Cold turkey.
Good for you. Cold turkey.
Cold fucking turkey, man. Cold turkey.
Finally just hit you.
And I never believed in the whole notion of like slowing down or 1 drink a day, 2 drinks a day. If you're gonna stop, fucking stop.
Yeah.
If you're gonna stop, you know. The whole 1 a day thing is just setting yourself up, man. You know, so I dumped it all and never had a drink since. You know, and I'll never bash it. I never say, oh, don't drink alcohol. Alcohol is bad. It's just not for me. I would fuck everything up.
Yeah.
You know, I'll still make you drinks. I'll cook with us still, you know what I'm saying? I'm just not gonna sit here and casually have a fucking cocktail. It's just not for me. I would destroy everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it was intense. There were nights where I remember at after parties. The one night I vividly remember was we're upstairs in an apartment. And I remember I was like slouched in the wall, drinking out of a bottle, and I wanted to use the bathroom. The bathroom was occupied. So I guess I went downstairs to use the bathroom, and I probably passed out somewhere on the street. I woke up that morning at St. Vincent St. Mary's Hospital. That's when it was still open in New York. It was downtown Manhattan. It was somewhere on 7th Avenue. And I woke up at St. Vincent St. Mary's Hospital. I had these in my hands, don't know where the fuck I was, terrified. So I just simply got up. And this is where I left one of my phones also. I got up, took that reason, I just got dressed and I walked out the hospital. And I got a bill a couple months later, ambulance ride bill. Ambulance rides aren't cheap, they're expensive also. You know, so I guess that night I went downstairs. I tried to pee somewhere, passed out on the street. Someone called the ambulance. You know, and I know at least I can count on my fingers. I know guys that died from alcohol poisoning or passed out after parties and never made it. You know, so I got real fucking lucky throughout this entire time. Real lucky. And I look back at those times and I'm like, damn, you were fucking up, dude. Like, that's really you. Like, you hear these stories, like, you know, that was me.
Yeah.
You know, like,
what do you feel like, though? Was there anything deeper to your alcohol abuse in that sense? Was it just a lack of, like, were you scared ultimately? Was it a relief of just,
I don't know.
Was there anything deeper than just the...
It was a mixture thing, because at the time, the marriage was also going a little south. It was also like a crutch. You know, things weren't the greatest at home. You know, so it's like, okay, I could drink this off. You know, I'll feel better the next day. And you wake up the next morning, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? And so it was more that, I feel like, I mean, we grew up fine. I had a really nice upbringing. You know, mom and dad was perfect. You know, we were fine. They didn't make it together, but there was nothing traumatic at home at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was more, I feel like, on my end, you know? Yeah.
Which I think is an interesting thing, because, I just feel like a lot of stories are, hey, I started abusing drugs or alcohol or sex or something because my childhood was shitty, or my dad used to beat me, and now you're saying, like, no, it just sounds like almost like things were so great, and then you just kind of got into the wrong crowd, or not even the wrong crowd, it just was part of the work, but it just slowly became part of what you do, and your identity got worse. And before you knew it, if I hear you correctly, this was like full blown, and you couldn't pull the control back that well. Is that right?
Yeah. And then my mom friends would tell me, well, maybe we should try, like, you know, AA meetings and all this stuff. And once again, not that I don't believe in that, because it helped a lot of people. It helped folks. It helps. You know, but I'm just the kind of guy, I don't believe someone should convince me to do something I know I have to do, you know, for myself. You know what I'm saying? So I knew I had to stop drinking to protect what I have. You know, I know I wanted to get better as a chef, as a cook, and as a person, as a dad, as a friend, as a husband, as an individual, period. You know, so to do that, why would I, but I didn't feel like I should have, like, take meetings and slowly stop drinking. I said, fuck that. If I'm going to stop, I'm going to stop, and I'm not going to do it again. I'm not touching that again, because you know what's possible. I know what I destroyed. And I had good opportunities, and I fucked it up, and I didn't want to do that anymore. You know what I mean? And now as a chef, now I would smell alcohol Even on the cook's house, smell it. And I look back, I take my, and I'm like, God, people always smell me.
Yeah.
You know, and I would think, oh, I could chew in a mint and you wouldn't smell it. But people would always smell me. I had an interview. I remember I had an interview once. I forgot the name of the place on the Upper West Side. I lived in Jersey at the time. And I took a train into New York for the interview. And I was about 25, 30 minutes late for the interview. I stopped at a bodega. I got 2 beers and I chugged it before the interview.
Yeah.
And I got there and I fucking killed it, dude. I staged. I made something really delicious, destroyed the interview. I know for sure I had the job. And I'm just sitting across like from the chef and he was just looking at me. He's just looking at me while I'm talking. And now that I think back and I smell alcohol on the guy's or anyone breath now, I'm like, what a dummy, Kai. Like, this guy was smelling you the entire time. You didn't even know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The entire time.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. It's like we feel like we're pulling the wool over people's eyes and everyone really knows what's going on.
Yeah. Everyone knows. Everyone knows what's going on. Yeah. Everyone knows, man. Yeah. Now I look back, I'm like, you're something else.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Amazing that you did continue to get some pretty cool opportunities, you know, even if you messed them up over and over again.
Yeah.
Right?
But everything happens for a reason, you know. Maybe I wasn't ready at the time. It all happens for a reason.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Nothing just happens for happening. There's a reason why it happened.
How much did things change after you just turned things off cold turkey?
Oh, dramatically, man. It almost changed right away.
Yeah, you know, work and relationship and your health. And
I physically felt better. Physically, I lost a whole bunch of weight. You know, I physically felt better. Everything got better. Immediately, you know.
Being able to concentrate, to take on your
I wasn't worried about
for focus.
Yeah, better at home, better at work. I wasn't worried about driving drunk. Dude, there was one night I drove from North Jersey to Central Jersey, which is about an hour and a half away. Zero recollection of it.
Wow.
Johnny, I sit here right now, and I can still tell you, I got in the car, and I stopped the engine, and I do not remember. You have to drive on the Jersey Turnpike. I was going south on the Turnpike, and late nights, it's just trucks and all the drunk drivers.
Yeah.
Late nights. And it's an hour and a half drive one way. I have zero recollection of exiting the Turnpike, getting on the Turnpike, driving on the Turnpike, parking the fucking car home. I don't know. I till this day, I do not know how that happened. And that was stupid.
Yeah.
That was so stupid. I could have died. You know?
Sure.
Zero recollection of it. And look, it's a miracle. It has to be.
Yeah. You know? Sounds like that's been a regular occurrence for you, is some like misses. Yeah.
You know, and now I don't have to worry about that stuff anymore. You know. It's so much more comfortable. You know? A lot more focus. A lot more. You know. Feel better.
Yeah.
You know, the people around you change around you. You know, your crowd changes. You know, the people see you doing better. It's also inspiring for other folks, you know, because I had friends that hit me up months ago, years ago. I was like, hey, that's, you know, it's really cool what you're doing, man. Like, I can't believe you ever stopped drinking. I was like, I can't believe it either.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd ever stop drinking, ever in my entire life.
Wow.
You know, but here we are.
Yeah. Well, it sounded like you did end up having to experience enough pain of losing jobs and whatever to finally be like, what the hell am I doing? You know?
What the hell are you doing?
Exactly. Yeah. It's almost got to become so painful that it's more painful to continue doing the habit than it is to quit.
I know.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's easier for some guys to say, well, okay, I can just do this another day because I can't quit today. It's so much going on in life. Dude, it's so much better after you quit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trust me, I had a blast working nightlife. I'm not going to say it wasn't fun. I'm not going to blame it. It was all me. But I'm honestly having more fun now than I was 10, 15 years ago. It sounds stupid, but I am.
Yeah. I believe it. I mean, I feel like that's the type of energy that you bring. You just seem like you're always having a good time with
always, man.
just enjoying life, but from a place of like grounded, consciousness rather than just being lost, So that's huge.
Sure.
That's really huge. Yeah.
Is,
well,
man.
I saw on your Instagram you were on a season or an episode of Chopped?
I was on Chopped, man. Yeah, that was really, really fun too. That was fun.
How was that?
Tell me
more about that experience.
Chopped was cool. It was a whole long with you. So I applied in 2017.
Okay.
I applied in 2017. I got a call back somewhere around 2018. I did a phone interview and an initial interview in 2019. We filmed it late 2019 and it aired 2020.
Cool. Cool.
So what they were saying was like holiday episodes would take even longer to air sometimes. But it was fun. We got there like 6 a.m. in the morning. It's early. It's all day long. 6 a.m. and they would take us one by one, the chefs one by one, dish by dish, talk by talk. They had us in a little holding room forever. It was really, really cool. It is nerve-wracking now because, you walk in the kitchen and they're the celebrity chefs on this side. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to look over there just yet. We'll start freaking the fuck out, So you walk in and there's, I don't want to exaggerate, maybe 10 cameras lined up in front of you, in front of the stoves.
Crazy.
And then you turn around to face the stove. There's another 2 cameras facing the fucking stove. And on top of that, there's one guy that's following you around the kitchen. Yeah. So,
oh my gosh.
the nerves got out the door really fast. And what was next for me was not getting chopped because I didn't have enough time.
Yeah.
Because I always watch the episodes and I see guys doing some really cool stuff and run out of time. So my thing was to get it done as fast as fucking possible and execute, So in the appetizer round, I was done with about 5 minutes left because which is fast. Appetizer is good. Entree round, I was done with about 8 minutes left in the entree round. Yeah. I was done with 8 minutes left, man. So
wow.
I basically beat myself,
Yeah.
But what did it for me was in that round we had a swordfish and a gnocchi pizza.
Okay.
So it was just a slice of pizza with gnocchi on it. Gnocchi as a filling. It was so fucking good. So I made a bouillabaisse and I dumped all the filling in there, which is delicious. What I got chopped for was overuse of saffron, which could be a little floral if you use too much of it. But I'm looking at my competitors next to me, and the swordfish is butchered consistently. So I know she'd have undercooked fish, which she did.
Yeah.
If you look at the episode, I said it to you. Her fish was undercooked because it was all inconsistently butchered. And the other guy, his was overly spicy. So I'm like, fuck, man, a little bit of saffron, whatever. Yeah. But it was fun. After that, a lot of cool stuff happened after that. I got to be the chef de cuisine for E421 in New York City at Balabusta. I was a CDC and she was one that took me to the James Beard Foundation. We did 2 dinners at the Beard House and 1 off-premises dinner at Chelsea Market. And after working for her, that's when, I don't know what happened, but someone put me into the chef's boot camp. It might be Enad. And I did the chef's boot camp in 2021.
Yeah.
And then recently went to Chicago last Monday for the last awards they did for the advocacy meetup. So there's a lot of cool stuff happening that's going on that I'm really excited about.
So that's pretty cool. So it definitely did open some doors for you.
It did. It actually did. It really, really did. It did.
That's really cool.
Definitely did.
That's really cool.
It did. Yeah.
Where would you have been? That was what? The end of 2019 was when. So that was though shortly after you stopped drinking.
Yeah, I was getting ready to move here. Yeah, dude. The morning on my way to the Chop Studios to film, I chugged 2 beers. If I got on the train.
Oh, you did. Yeah.
That same morning.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Crazy,
it's
man.
Insane.
Crazy.
It's like I couldn't do anything without fucking drinking,
Yeah.
It was intense.
What have been some of your bigger kind of takeaways or life lessons you feel like now that you can look back? You've lived long enough. Obviously, you still have your prime ahead of you, but you can also look back and be like, okay, there's some amazing things to life and beautiful, experiences with your, I'm sure with your family and everything else, but there's also some big lessons that you've walked away with. What are some of those that telling a younger version of yourself, like, hey, well, not even telling your younger self, but what are some of the bigger kind of life lessons you feel like you've learned so far that you would want to pass along to your children or to someone who
what I would say
maybe
is
is
like
younger?
your environment matters. Your environment. Your environment matters. Had I been, let's say I was doing, for example, real estate or anything else besides nightlife, right? Outside that environment, it wouldn't have been that intense. It wouldn't have been that crazy.
Yeah.
For sure. You know, like they'll say like, I've seen videos where you'll see like dogs and, for example, lions are coexisting together. Because somehow that dog or lion got into each other's environments at a young age, and they adapted to it. They got to work together. Like it's not something you normally see together. You know what I'm saying? So you had this young 20-year-old kid in that environment, and you got something as that. So I would say watch the environment, the people you keep around you, and just believe in yourself and don't stop, man. Like, you believe in something, stick by it. And I have this thing where I'll make a plan and I say, well, I'll make a plan B. You know, say plan A doesn't work, I'll fall back on plan B. You already failed at plan A when you're making that plan B. You already failed plan A. You know, the moment you say, hey, I'll stop drinking, but maybe 2 days, I'll slow down. You failed already, dude. You already failed. So I don't make a plan B. I make the plan A and I stick to that and I execute and I make that plan fucking happen. Your mindset. You have to put it. If I put in my mind, okay, if plan A doesn't work, plan B will work. That's your mindset already. I'm already focused on plan B. I'm focused on failure already. You know, so just stick to your guns, stick to your plan, watch your environment, people around you, and believe in yourself 100%. You know, had I not believed in myself, I'd have probably been sunken. I'd been dead already. You know, but I believed there was more to do. You know, there's so much more to do. You think it's fun and it's happiness. There's so much more fun out there. There's so much more, so many things you can do. You know, so that's what I was telling my younger self. Like, watch your environment, believe in yourself, stick to your plan. You know,
your environment, aka not only your environment, but the people that you're surrounding yourself with, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Everything.
And like you said,
the folks you're listening to, the folks you're talking to.
Yeah, and not allow those people or those environments, like you said, to have a safety net, right?
Exactly.
Just to be all in on your goals, your dreams, whatever you're focusing on, right? Not have any distractions, right?
Exactly. Yep. And then moved to Texas and met the guys in Austin, the Empire Brotherhood, and that's why that's so magical for me. I'm like, this fucking exists, man. You know, like you felt that firsthand, man. Like, I'm like, this is insane. You know, so now I drive from New Braunfels to Austin, which is about a solid hour, for that workout every week because I know how powerful it is. You know, it's a physical workout, but it's also really, really good mental work too. You know?
Like you said, good to be around other guys who are doing the work.
You know,
exactly. Good energy.
And I didn't have that there. You know, the guys I had there was the partiers. They wanted to do the same thing I was doing. You know what I mean? It was the partiers, the drinkers. You know, there wasn't any kind of support system like that there. You know, so that's why that's why a lot of guys want that in their city. Like, oh, I want this group in my city. I wish there's a group of men in my city. It's rare. It's very rare. You know, like you'll mostly group of women coming together, you know, holding each other accountable, being involved with each other, but you don't see a group of men getting together like that because, you know, you think, oh, I'm a man, I'm too strong for that. I don't want to cry with another strange man, and I don't want to tell another man my story. I don't want to be vulnerable with another strange man. Like, it doesn't feel like that at all. You know, sometimes I go up and let go, man.
It's powerful. Powerful to be in a group of men, like you said, that all kind of moving towards the best version of themselves.
Yep.
That's huge. Where does what is the next level for you in your career and your personal life look like? What are you aiming at now? that you're excited about?
I'm excited for brick and mortar restaurant, man. I think we want to expand pretty soon at the restaurant. You know, we have space next to the restaurant, so that's the idea. Expanding restaurants, man. That's what I wanted to open restaurateur around. I won't say around the world, but I won't go that far. You know, but short term, girl, I want to open another restaurant here. Out in Texas or back home, back in the East Coast.
Yeah.
You know, I started the spice line, the Spice by Kai stuff. It's funny. So throughout my years of cooking, being a line cook, I was like, we'll season stuff with it. And I remember things we'll do. And then during the pandemic, I started putting those things together. But the idea was to create a craft spice. You know, there's like craft brewery, there's really funky, cool craft beers out there. The idea was a craft spice. So I bought this really cool dehydrator. And so I'm drying out fresh fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
And turning them into powders and creating a spice out of those powders from fresh fruits and vegetables.
Cool.
Everything's organic. There's no crazy stabilizers in them to keep them fresh. It's super, super small batch. You know, it's just the spice mix.
Yeah.
And so what I did the night on Chop, was it a skirt steak you advertised around? And I'm like, cool steak. I'm gonna try my spice out. So what I did was they had coffee. They didn't have the mushroom spice because I get fresh mushroom, dry it up, make a mushroom powder, mix it with coffee, and I do pineapples, oranges, cumin, coriander, anything you want to basically. So they just had coffee, coriander, and some regular spices. So I mixed that together, and they fucking loved it. Blew their mind. So that same night the episode aired, it was the night when I released the bag on Etsy. The Spice Black Eye bag. I sold 6 bags that week.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So I kind of used my little marketing genius up there with that, you know.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
I haven't had a lot of time to really focus on it because of the restaurant and everything, but
sure,
it's something I really want to get back into and, you know, release some more craft spices that's folks gonna enjoy using, you know, and it's something for you to use. It's not a spice for you to put in your spice rack and use it once in a blue. You're gonna want to use it right away. You know?
Yeah. That's huge. I did pop on Etsy and see that of yours, which is pretty cool. But I love that at this point it's still like you said, small little batches. You're doing it.
Yes,
you know, it's
small batch.
It's not huge production per se, and you still got
and the stuff. I mean,
human touch.
The stuff dries out within 2 days. You know, the stuff is drying. When it's dry, I mix a spice and I mail it right out to you.
That's so cool. That's really, really cool. I'll put that link in the show notes so people can check it out and grab some. Yeah. That's cool. I like the idea. So you're gonna stay kind of local to where you're at, or you don't know where that'll take you in terms of opening other restaurants, or you're happy with where you're at right now in Texas?
Yeah, I'm enjoying Texas, man. It's not weirdly enjoy. I know I wanted something more quiet, like than the East Coast, because while I was in New York City, I moved to Jersey, and I thought Jersey was quiet. You know, so I'm like, cool. Right. I'm not in the city anymore. You know, it's nice and quiet in Jersey. And then my wife, she's originally from San Antonio. You know, it's after the pandemic. I mean, we always entertained the fact of like moving to San Antonio at some point, back with her family, all that good stuff. And then the pandemic hit, and we were like, okay, here's the time. You know?
Yeah.
And then and I'm like, really? I'm like, okay, Gavin moved to Jersey. Now I'm going to Texas? What the fuck, man? That's a stretch. Yeah. But I got here and I liked it, man. I enjoy it. I'm still enjoying it. And the folks been really, really cool. And then before you get here, you'll think like, yeehaw, cowboy boots and fucking hats. You know? It's way more than that, man. It's way more than just yeehaw, cowboy boots. You know? I'm enjoying it. Yeah. I'm enjoying it.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's sweet. And you have a couple of kiddos now, right?
Yeah. So I have 4 total. So I have 2 teenagers. So I have an 18-year-old, 17-year-old back on the East Coast. My son, he's in the Bronx, Bryce. And then my daughter, Jeannie, in Pennsylvania. And then Nala, Coyote, 2 babies, and my wife here in Texas with us.
Crazy.
Yeah, so I am completely done. No more.
Yeah, you're done. Cut you off.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I leave the population to you now.
Yeah. I'm going to warm things up here eventually. I'm going to be a late start, but we'll see how it goes. But that's cool. I can see. I can imagine you've got great relationship with your kids, and probably love that point of fathering, kind of passing along things that you got from your parents, right?
I love it. Yes, I love it. Love it. It's all a good time. The same good times we had. Like my dad always tells like stories. It's the same thing here. It's always a good time.
Yeah. You're still pretty tight with your dad?
Yeah, we're super cool, man. Really close.
That's great. It's been he
was here last summer.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he visited Texas last summer. He came.
Oh, that's cool.
Took him around a bit. Yeah, I took 2 weeks off of work. Got a vacation. Yeah. We spent some time with us. Yeah, we're really cool.
Knowing just how tight you are with your mom and your dad and how much you appreciate that relationship, how do you feel like that's impacted your ability to parent your children and some of those things that because I feel like a lot 100%. Of guys like I mention that I talk about on the podcast, myself included, will either have mom or dad have like an estranged relationship or like something that's not great with mom or dad, so it's rare that I meet someone like you like, no, I have a great relationship with both of them,
with both parents. I mean, they separated, yes, but they kept it solid for us still at the same time, so that's very
it's a blessing.
It's important. It's like a blueprint for yourself to give on to others, show to my kids will show their kids, and it trickles down generations to come.
True.
Because like I meet guys even at the workout, and even Father's Day, I sent a picture of me and my dad, and I said, hey, like, if your dad isn't around, or if you're in some way with your dad, here's me and my dad. We can share my dad for the day. Because I know the kind of man he is. He's so opening and welcoming. He's still nurturing. He'll gladly accept anyone. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to share that with everyone else. Having both parents there and solid was really, really helps. Really, it matters.
That's huge. Oh, it matters so much.
You get a solid foundation. And it messes up a lot of folks. And I was worried about that. Like, okay, if my marriage goes south, it's gonna hurt the girls so much. It's gonna destroy them. Like we're gonna have to work even harder to keep that solid for the girls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's important stuff.
It's not easy. Yeah, definitely. I mean, what I like about your perspective in your life is just that it's similar to so many in the sense of like, man, you're working hard, you're working late, you're also having to work on your relationship with your spouse, your kids. There's just a lot. Your health. You're traveling to hang out with a good tribe of guys. Like you're putting in the time. You're doing the hard work of keeping your mental health where it needs to be, right? So it's just nice to see that it pays off, versus guys that might be listening to this and be like, oh, I know I need to make a change, but is it really worth it? Is it really going to change things? It sounds like it really does for you. Yeah,
it does. Again, mindset, man. If you're thinking, if your mindset is it really going to change? Was it worth it? You're already fucked.
Yeah.
Like how you got to think is like, it is going to change. It is going to get better. I will make it better. And you feel better hearing yourself, saying those things, Self-talk, man. Positive self-talk. I mean,
self-talk.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not always bright and shiny and always happy. I get dark times also. I get sad. I get but I snap out of it very quickly. I don't stay there. Because what's the point of staying down there?
I agree.
It does nothing. It does nothing for you. Nothing for the folks around you. You don't feel good. I don't like feeling like shit. You know what I mean? So they're dark days, but I snap right out of it. I snap out of it really fast and say, "Hey, get the fuck up, man." I snap out of it.
Do you have any mentors? Are there people that you listen to on podcasts or books or anything that you do to kind of focus on that mindset? Is anyone that you model after?
You know what's funny, Johnny? This is my first podcast ever being on. I'll probably listen to maybe 2 or 3. And of course I'll say, because I'm so busy, I'm blaming on being busy. But it's the truth. I'm running around so much, I can barely respond to my parents when they freaking text me. But in my entire life, I listen to maybe 2 or 3 podcasts. As far as books, I'm reading Johnny Elsasser's book, and I just got this other book for Father's Day, 7 successful people in life. Things that 7 things successful people do. I started reading that too, but I've just been blessed to have a really solid mindset to stay straight, man. I don't know. I wake up in the morning, I'll do some breath work or I'll work out, drink my mushroom coffee, just Start the day, man.
I love it. Keep it simple, right?
Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Trying to do too much. Yeah.
And it's something I see in the kitchen where I apply in my everyday life also. Like, you make a mistake today, right? I focus on it and I let it go. And the next day, I will do a little better. And if I can have that mindset every single day where I do a little better than yesterday, you're not even thinking about being better.
Totally.
Being better is going to be automatic. Being better will just happen. So it takes the stress off of saying, okay, I gotta have a good month. I gotta do this. I gotta do that.
Yeah.
Just try a little bit at a time. So just today, just try being just not doing what you did yesterday, and it's called learning and growing. If we're not learning, we're not growing. If we're not growing, we're not learning.
Exactly. Incremental progress, though, not trying to take on huge change.
Exactly.
Just a little bit every single day makes a big difference. It compounds, right?
Very little bit, as long as you're learning. So I apply that in my everyday life, not just the kitchen, but at home, everywhere.
Yep. But going back to what you said earlier, if you're really going in doubting kind of the mindset piece of it or whatever, aka you're ultimately having some sort of like safety net. Well, I can kind of listen to these things. I can kind of go and work on my mindset. But if it doesn't work, I'll just fall back to this. That's probably not going to work. You just got to be like committed to having a healthy mindset, having a good tribe of people around you, right?
Blocking out the negativity. Folks are going to try to tell you, well, that mightn't work. What if you do something else? It mightn't work for you because that's your mindset. You know what I mean? So blocking those people out, blocking that out, because folks are going to always try to tell you, well, what if? What if I fucking do it? Yeah, what if that?
What if you actually succeed?
Exactly. Not what if it doesn't work out. I mean, of course, shit wouldn't go your way the entire time. But if you just put yourself in that mindset, it helps.
Yeah.
It helps. Energy follows, man. Energy follows. I believe that. Energy follows. The energy you put in is what you get out of it,
Totally.
If you put a shitty energy into it, you'll get shit out of it,
Yeah. Amen. And I also kind of agree in the sense that, like you said, keeping your, I mean, there's just so much about morning rituals, all that stuff. You're just kind of keeping things simple, right? Focusing on just continuing.
A routine is also important too. Building a routine. I mean, you don't have to wake up and work out and prep work every morning. Just build a routine. Whether you're waking up, touch your fucking toes, cup of coffee, walk out the door. That could be your routine.
Yeah.
Just
nothing too
start
crazy.
With a simple routine.
Consistency.
Wake up. Take 10 deep breaths, stretch your fucking arms, and just walk out the door. That could be your routine. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just build a routine, and you'll find yourself building routines in other aspects of your life, and before you know it, change is happening, growth is happening.
Yeah. Well, I was similar to you too, to be totally honest. Like, I've been doing this podcast since the beginning of COVID, essentially. I started actually a couple of weeks before COVID. But I hadn't listened to many podcasts for years. I never really listened. It's just been the last year that I started getting into podcasts a little bit more. But that's not been the way that I've grown.
I'm the same, man.
Or listen to books, watch videos on YouTube, right? So there's no right or wrong way to do it, but I just kind of curious to see what you kind of use to support your mindset and to inspire yourself. But
and even when I read books, again, like I can't just sit here and read a book in one day. I'll do a little at a time. I'll do a page or two at a time, a little at a time. I want to stretch it out, a little at a time.
I think it's good. I think it's healthy, and just you're living a busy life, and I think that just goes to show that just a little bit every single day, like you said, can make a huge difference. So for guys that are listening and kind of maybe they're struggling in one area or not, they just need to focus on literally just the now. That 1% improvement a day, just 1%. Improvement makes a huge difference. So
big difference, man.
Yeah. Dude, well, thank you for hanging with me this early morning, drinking your coffee with me. Yeah, it's good to hear your story. I'm really proud of the turnaround you've made. Like, where would you be if you really hadn't had the courage to just stop cold turkey? Like you said, like you probably had so many different near misses that life could have been completely different, right?
Of course.
Yeah, that obviously God has something pretty powerful for you to have done and to continue to do, you know?
I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
For sure.
But thank you for hanging out. I'm gonna put your Etsy link in the show notes.
Yeah, nice.
And I would go back.
I gotta come out there and visit you, man.
Well, you got it. Yeah, anytime, dude.
Yeah,
anytime. Yeah. Colorado is a beautiful place. Not to mention it's like 30 degrees cooler than Austin.
I like that, dude. I fucking love that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Humidity,
I love it.
No bugs. Yeah, it's not bad. It's
perfect.
Not bad at all. Yeah,
I can't do. The bugs freak me out. Snakes and spiders bug me out, dude.
Yeah, you got plenty out here. You got plenty in Austin. So, and then I also would love to watch the
Chopped episode.
On Chopped. Yeah, it'd be fun.
I'll send it to you.
Fun to see
it. It's season 40. It's season 47, episode 4.
Okay.
And the name of the episode is Want a Gnocchi Sandwich, but I send it all to you.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
I love that. Dude, well, thank you for hanging with me. Thanks for taking your
Johnny,
morning time, not sleeping in.
Sir.
Appreciate you, man. We'll catch up soon, and thanks for being on.
Thank you, brother. Yes, sir.
Right, take care.
I'll see you again, brother. Later.
Bye.